right, welcome everybody to our workshop 3 called Refine My Business Model and Setting Goals for Growth. And I'm excited that we're back again and we're going to really explore, and you've already started exploring this question from your viewpoint as an entrepreneur. So our feedback, our question around the feedback is really about how can we achieve business success with planning? So how can you achieve it? So I would love for anyone to, just a few voices, 1 or 2 voices. How can we achieve business success with planning? So does anyone want to help us and respond to that a little bit? I'm loving seeing what's in the breakout rooms as well. So now we're taking this question you explored to the next level of then how can we make this happen?
Can I try?
Please do. Thank you very much.
I think by planning, we're able to see whether the business is growing or not. So with plans, you're able to actually dictate on where to fix, where to grow. So yeah, I think planning actually helps you put things down and actually be able to track where your business is headed. So with that, you're able to tell whether it's growing or not. So if it's not growing, you know where you're not growing, you're able to fix that in a way guaranteeing growth.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very much, Wandile. I think the one voice will do for today.
Okay,
And
can I speak, please?
Yes.
Okay, so firstly, from me, I would identify my business purpose, its values, my goals. That includes short-term and long-term goals for my business, and conduct a market research and analysis, and basically understand my target audience, the industry trends and competitors, etc., etc. Also by setting SMART goals, specific, and be specific when setting my goals, clearly defining what I want to achieve, ensure my goals are realistic and attainable, and basically.
Great. Thank you so much. Thanks, Kamvelihle. I think that's about.
Olebocheng has got an interesting comment that you see there about vision boards in the text chat, Tobeka.
Lebocheng. Lebo or where? No, there's a lot going on.
Olebocheng.
Oh. Oh, there's a lot going on here. This is
Olebocheng spoke about using vision boards.
Using a vision board and noting, but the challenge is implementing the goals and visions I have. I'm going to try and be more realistic and have them be achievable. Yeah. And that's the thing, is now breaking them down a little bit, because you have the big picture of this is the big picture. But now to make that big picture happen, there's little steps. You have a big picture of making this delicious dish, but you can't make this big dish without taking care of the little stuff, buying the ingredients, chopping the ingredients, switching on gas or electricity, and then adding it. Anyway, thank you very much. On that, we're now going to go directly to our session on refining my business model and setting goals for growth. I am very excited to have Christoph, the training manager, really delve into this topic. I'm saying it with a smile because my first workshop was by Christoph in 2016, end of 2016 or so. That's when we first met. And and I've just been a bug on his head.
That's when people
lots of hair.
thought a business plan is a thick document like this, Tobeka. But we've learned a lot in the meantime, sort of. So
Yes.
I wrote,
Also,
I wrote,
oh,
I wrote a book on it as well called Results, sort of, I wouldn't find
yes.
the book there now, but yeah, there's lots and lots about planning, sort of. So some of the comments that we had here around achieving our vision and sort of our goals,
Mm-hmm.
being able to achieve what we want in terms of our goals are all kind of encapsulated in what we can do for planning. But yeah, we'll cover the business modeling today, action planning, sort of how we can get things done to achieve those bigger goals, and specifically looking at the business model canvas as a tool.
Yes.
But yeah, as soon as you've planned, the situation has changed nowadays, eh? I'm not sure if you guys feel so intimidated, sort of you put something down because this and this and this is the opportunity and that can happen, and then tomorrow the situation has already changed, sort of. So to review and adjust is a very important part of planning nowadays. And then we've got assignment 3 that's on the business model canvas that we'll cover too. But I'll start off with, if I may, shall I proceed?
Yes, please do proceed, and I'll put the information about your book of results. Is that okay? I know
That's
I
cool.
didn't ask you. Okay.
The FISO
Go.
shared this with us 3 weeks ago in the first session that we had. Sorry, the second section that we last workshop that we had around entrepreneurship and us being entrepreneurs that wants to make a living for ourselves. We want to create wealth for ourselves, and there's nothing to be ashamed about that. Sort of. In fact, it's a driver for entrepreneurship is to run profitable businesses that you can create wealth for yourself too. But most of us that are in the entrepreneurship space are going through so much pain. We would have perhaps have made more money if we took a job somewhere. Sort of. So we're definitely not only doing it for the money, we're also doing it for making the difference. And that's what entrepreneurship is about. Sort of. We looked in that workshop with Safiso at definitions of entrepreneurship. And as a starting point, do you remember this slide? It's the exact slide that we had in that session. It's about generating value and addressing market needs. So what is the value that you create? You can start ask yourself that now already, because when we go into the tools, that is something that you'll have to address. Also in your assignment, you'll have to talk about the value you create. What is the value you create? Anyone wants to share in the text chat? What is the value that you create? So you can, I'm not asking you what is your product or your service. I'm asking you what is the value? What is the value that those people in the market, the target audience that you're addressing wants to create? Anyone can share in the text chat. Or you can unmute quickly and speak too if you want to. Anyone? We're going to take one or two. Connection, rejuvenation is Metsa. Confidence, Nonkosazana. You can see, you don't see the product or service in there. You see the benefit that the people are getting. That's the value that they get. Isn't that interesting, eh? Sort of, we always think when people ask you what you do, we start talking about, if it's Cholefelo, or if it's food security, it is, I grow vegetables, sort of, but that's not the important part that we're talking about here. We're talking about the value as an entrepreneur, the value that we create for those people that we're addressing. And then we also spoke about us and our strengths. Remember that? Our strengths and weaknesses and how we show up and so on. So when we talk about our vision, it is about that dream. Sort of. So we shared that in the breakouts. We shared that in our WhatsApp community in the past few days, and we can talk about how things look like in 3 years or 5 years from now in our business as a starting point. And that vision board that we refer to as well is part of that. What is it that we want to create? That big picture is very important. That's driving us. It is our dream. And to have that dream, we can describe it in a bit more detail. So I'm not sure, sort of, if we go back, I saw a lot of the dreams being expressed in the WhatsApp group saying these things. What you're offering, who are involved, who are the customers, how do they look like, how many of them, what is the revenue? You can go back to the WhatsApp group if you're interested. You'll see most of us share those kind of things, so we can get quite concrete in doing so. But then we must ask ourselves, how will you make sure that we can succeed in getting to that wish? We have got the vision, the wish. We can call it the vision, and we can think of it like this. There's a staircase. And the vision is at the top of the staircase. Now, how do we get to the top of the staircase? We have to start at the bottom. So what are those steps that we need to take? We can say, okay, from the top back, if we have the vision, we've described the vision, we've created the vision, this is what we want to see our business to be. We have to have the goals. Remember, we spoke about the SMART goals. What are those specific things that we want to achieve in working towards the vision? Is the step just before achieving the vision. And before that is the plans that we make. And that's where we're going to start focus today, the plans and the actions. Because without the actions, without taking that first step, you can't get to the top of the staircase. So are you ready to take that first step? The first two steps there are about action planning and about using a one-page business plan, which is what we want to offer you today. Are you with us, everyone? Say yes in the text chat if you are with us. Where we're heading, we've got the vision. We've spoken about this a lot now, vision and goals, SMART goals. Now it's about plans and action. Lots of yeses there. Okay, just to make sure everyone is with us. By the way, if you've got a question that you want to note so long, even if we're busy presenting, you can put it in the text chat too. We'll come to that. Yebo. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, great to see. Thanks, guys. This slide may also look familiar to you because Nomvuyo spoke about that in our first session, setting of goals through the day-to-day actions that we take and the need for SMART goals. So this slide may also look familiar with you. Specific. And I think we're getting there. Eh? So a lot of the expressions on our WhatsApp group when we asked for SMART goals and for the vision came very specific, so many people by that date, so many rands, measurable, So, that measurable part is sometimes very closely linked to the specific. What you'll do and how you will measure the result of that. And then achievable, realistic. We also saw that today being commented. So I think we're making progress here and taking these ideas on board, relevant. Of course, it must contribute to either. There's no use in having a goal that's not contributing to your vision. And in time bound, by when is it going to be? Okay, so that's revisions. It's nothing new. But here is a new idea. And this is an important one. And we can just pause on that for a moment, if our goals don't lead to action, it's useless. It's worth nothing. You get that, eh? You can sit with your coach and talk about the goals. You can fill out your assignment here. You can sit on a Sunday and write down, I want to achieve these things. But if you don't on the Monday morning hit the ground running with doing stuff, you're fooling yourself. So let's not fool ourselves. We can think of it like standing on this side of a river and the bridge is going to take us over the river. So on this side where we are now is the year. We stand on this side and we say the goals and vision is on the other side. We can see it. We can actually smell it over the river, but we still have to cross the river. We see those achievable goals. And now we must plan. How do we get from here where we are and cross the river? Okay. So if we don't plan, getting across the river is going to be very difficult. So that bridge is the planning that we can make. So step 1, we set those definable those goals that we want to achieve, for your business, SMART goals. This is the there. We're heading there. That's where we want to go. The goal is still something we're going to. Hey, we're not there yet. In fact, the psychologist tells us if we visualize it too much, we may be so satisfied with what we see in our mind that we forget that we actually have to do the action still. So you must have that hunger to go to that goal. Okay, step 2 then is understand, that SWOT that we did, that the ability for you to go from here to there. How are you going to get there realistically? Understand your current resources, the skills, what you have access to. You have to be realistic about it. There may be some gaps between where you are now and where you want to be. What are those gaps that you need to fill? And that helps us then to go from here to there. So the action steps that we need to take. And don't get overwhelmed by what we need to do. Let's take it one by one. So I think that's something I already saw some coaches reports coming in, that definitely your coach is a perfect person for you to reflect on that. What are those realistic action steps for you to take? And if you make a commitment to your coach, in the 3 weeks time, we're going to meet again. My coach is going to ask me, what happened here. So you also have that accountability built into it. Okay, so step 1, set those goals. Step 2, look at what you have, your resources, your team, your location, your own skills, those things that you need to take you from here to there. And then step 3 is taking the action steps that you plan those action steps and execute the action steps. So you may say, what do middle-aged white men that were leaders from the North have anything to do? But there's a nice quote that's ascribed to both Winston Churchill and Benjamin Franklin. In fact, I think Sifiso used it in his past one too. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. If you do not plan, you're actually planning not to be successful. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So planning must be part of what you do. We cannot get away from that. But here's another interesting philosopher. Okay, actually, he's not a philosopher. Who knows Mike Tyson? Anyone? Who's Mike Tyson? You can unmute and say, anyone? Ashford?
He's a boxer.
Boxer.
know.
He was a boxer. When I
A
first noticed
greatest boxer.
he off
One of the greatest
Holytail's ear in the boxing ring. He was a mean guy. So what he said is, we have a plan. Everyone has got a plan. As soon as you get punched in the mouth, then maybe that plan stops to exist. So we must account for we're going to get the punches in the face too. The plan is never going to work out exactly how we thought it's going to be. We're not writing a blueprint for the way that we're going. We're setting our course, and the winds are going to blow, and we're going to get punched in the face. We know that. And you'll also recall that this is also what Sifiso said, a bit of revision about failure. Remember, in our second workshop, we spoke about failure. Failure is part of entrepreneurship. We're going to have failures. We're going to have setbacks. But we can understand that it helps us to set our course again. In fact, here's another quote that Sifiso reminded us too about Henry Ford. Sort of Henry Ford that created a big motor company, said each time there's a failure, it helps us a bit to refine and get better. Next time, we're going to do it a bit more intelligently, a bit better. So failure is going to be there. Setbacks are going to be there. When we plan, we know there's going to be things that we didn't think of, but we have to adjust. And this is where we are today in the entrepreneurship space, where we understand that you must plan. Start off with plan. This guy, Eric Ries, is an entrepreneur from America that wrote a book called The Lean Startup. It's worth go look at. In fact, there's videos on YouTube. You can go watch it. What he says about when you get punched in the face, like Tyson said, you need to be able to adjust. So when you plan, you go out and do. But then you must review how things are. What's different? So that you can go back to your plan and adjust your plan. Sometimes that adjustment may be big. They call it a pivot in the lean startup language. Pivot into doing something, you were farming chickens, but there are too many people selling chickens in your community. You realize you can't sell it. The price is going so down, you can't sell it anymore. You must pivot into something else. You see? So the feedback that you get may help you to shift into something new. Or you may say, no, I'm not going to pivot into something else. I'm going to focus on something very specific, something more, something better, sort of improve my product. So that plan, do, and review cycle is a very important one. Is there anyone that's doing that already on a regular basis? Sit down every month or every week. Anyone in the room? Raise your hand. To follow the cycle, to sit down and plan, to go and do the stuff, and then come back and say, okay, let's review. All new for you guys. Okay, here's something that's going to make a real difference to your business. If you start do this, end of the month comes, I know I must sit down and review how things I have and refine my plans. You're going to be hugely more successful. So perhaps if this is the only thing you take away from today, is to say, how can I introduce this into my business? Not only do, fight the fires, but I must have time to step back. As the entrepreneur, I must work on my business, not only in my business. Have you heard about that? To work on your business. So the product of your labor, your work is actually not the product of your business. The product of your work is your business that is working very well in delivering its product. You have to work on your business. So, Nkosi Gifile says exactly what I'm facing. We're stepping in a new direction to enter the free energy space. Okay, so you were busy with stuff and so on, and you realize this is not working. I must now pivot into something new. I also saw many of you commenting about, I've got 2 businesses. In fact, in the coaching reports, there came this thing about 2 businesses. Maybe this review thing may also help you to say, okay, this one is working better than that one. I must maybe put my energy more into this one that's working better. Okay, plan, do, review. Most important thing of today. Remember that, please. So we're talking about business planning. What is the process? The process of defining a business, the goals, the plans, the actions to guide the growth and success. So you can see a plan as a guide.
Hello.
Yes, Pule.
Yes. Me, basically what I want to achieve for the business and for myself as well is that financial freedom as well. That financial skills, those financial management. So I've recently come across a post. There's a company that gives out free bookkeeping lessons. It's 4 to 5 hours. So they just come for a day and they give you study materials. All you have to do from your side is to organize a free venue for them and round up about 40 plus people. Then they will do everything for you. Catering, they will do study your marketing materials to market the actual class. So yeah, that's what I've been planning.
Will you share that in the marketplace on the WhatsApp group so others can understand also what it is and make use of that opportunity? You know what I find, Pule, my biggest friend in learning has become YouTube.
Yes, as well, yeah.
You can search for anything on YouTube. Maybe you're going to go to 2, 3 videos and you can learn. So this thing about Lean Startup, for instance, if you go to YouTube now and you type in Lean Startup Eric Ries, you can find a lot of stuff you can learn from. There's someone that's going to have a lesson there that's 5 minutes or 10 minutes. There's someone that's going to have a longer discussion too. So we're actually spoiled nowadays with the internet with courses, but these opportunities are also there, so please share that so that we can all have access. There was another hand. It was Ashford, I think, but you tenderpreneur. My goal is to shift to becoming a business owner. Yeah. To move away from running after one after the 10. So planning is definitely part of that, and that's what we're going to cover now today. So I've got a question for you guys. Which business planning tools do you know about already? Can we see in the text chat? If you want to plan, what are the tools you can use? Which business planning tools do you know about? Do you know about any? Yes. YouTube is the university, the free university. You don't have to pay business fees. Business model says Sianda is a tool. Sida is offering stuff too, says Rashida. Business model canvas. BMC stands for business model canvas. We're going to cover that, Shezray, in a bit more detail today. Any other tools that you know? There are many tools. There are too many tools to mention here today, but business model canvas is definitely one. Business model, Sianda, yeah. Sort of that's a way of summarizing, doing financial projections, cash flow forecast on another tool, sort of many tools. So, but we can start off by saying, do you have a business model written down already? Is there anyone in the HubSpot and so those are kind of like apps that you can use to help you in your planning and execution of planning. There's of course project management and task management tools that we can use to get things done too, that's linked to business plans and so on. Do you have a written record or recorded business model? Is there anyone? You can raise your hand if you do. Anyone that's written down their business model? Okay, Pule, you spoke just now, so let's see if there's someone else. We want to have as many voices. Sia? How do you write your business model down, Sia? You can just unmute and speak.
Hi, Christoph. Yeah, I do have a business model canvas that I have used and I am still using. Something that I also had discussed with my coach when he came to visit me about a week or two a week ago or 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Right, that's definitely a one-page model, and we're gonna focus on that today. So see how when we cover that, maybe I'll ask you a question or two, if you don't mind, in terms of how you use that.
No problem.
The point being, yeah, that we can share with each other, sort of what we learn too. So you can all share with each other too as we go along. And I would say, as we learn in this program, we've got the WhatsApp platform as a main place to connect, and I see you guys are using it very well. Even for things that aren't, and I saw how we support each other through other stuff happening in our lives too, which I think just a shout out of appreciation to everyone, sort of if things happen in life, not only in business, but in life too. And I've seen in the past week how this community is becoming a strong community. So if Sia is someone that's used the business model canvas, ask him, if you get stuck on the WhatsApp group, we can support each other. Zama is building the canvas, so you're at the right place now, Zama. We're going to definitely make progress here today. Okay, but let's just make sure that we define this well, that we understand this thing well. What is a business model? And we're not gonna be in business school today, but it's just useful to ground it in a bit of a definition. Sort of. It's something that outlines how a company creates, delivers, and captures value. So you remember early on when we defined entrepreneurship, we spoke about the value we create. It creates, delivers, and captures value for its customers. What is the value that you capture for your customers? What is the benefit that you're offering them to make their lives better? And then the business model shows you, it integrates all the necessary components, all the components necessary to create and deliver that value. So it's things like the resources, the processes, the partnerships that you need so that you can do that efficiently and profitably. Okay, so that's a bit of a business school definition, but it tells us we have to be focused on the value and the customers as the starting point of our discussion here. If we can understand what the value is that we create, which is the better value than someone else can create, we're going to have the customers. We're going to have our best customers. But then the second part of the question then that you must put in your business model is to be efficient and profitable. How do we make money from this? How do we work our operations so that we do it in a way that the quality is delivered, that we don't waste money in doing so. So that's business model. And then the business model canvas is a version of business modeling. That's a one page, gives you a one page, it's a summary. You can quickly revise it too, because it's just one page, as you go along, you can revise it. And the various benefits. So I'm just going to pause quickly about, we've heard some of us are already using it or starting to use it. So what are the benefits? And we can maybe ask, it was Sia and someone else who was it said, Zama said, Sia and Zama are kind of working on the business model canvas already. If you find that these things are useful for you too. So please come in here. I'm going to ask you, the two of you now, just to comment on that front, sort of easy to understand because it's on one page, it's a summary. It's focused. You can't waffle on in describing things. If you've got a long document you write, you have to kind of just summarize things. It's flexible because it's so short and summarized, you can move things around. It's customer focused. So it helps you, what is the value that you offer that customer? And very important, this one is very important. It shows the connections between the elements in your business model. Everything is connected. And then, of course, it's easy to communicate. If you've written it down onto one page, you can show it to other people. Even when you do a pitch, you can show it to other people. Say, here's my business model canvas. So Sia, Zama, or anyone else that wants to raise a hand, what is the value that you guys have been getting? Pule, you say you're going to share yours. We can do so. And we've got the WhatsApp, remember, after this. This is just the start, by the way, of our discussion. Any one of you guys that want to comment on the benefits that you've been getting from the business model canvas? Sia?
Can you say the question again?
So you've started using the business model canvas. What is the benefit that you're getting?
Consistency in running the business. For example, through the business model canvas, I was able to identify some of the things that aren't necessary, for me to have or to implement in the business, because the business model canvas sort of works on the value chain around the business, all right? The value proposition that I offer to clients. Who are my customers? All of the segmentations that comes with that. For example, I'm running a radio station in George in the Garden Route, and every radio station needs a radio station manager. One of the things that I've identified is, at this present moment, me being active in the business, I don't necessarily need a radio station manager to oversee my staff when I'm always there at the radio station. So that's one of the things that I discovered, and it's actually saving me money. Instead of paying somebody to manage my people, I'm there to basically manage my people myself. So, and also the value proposition that I offer to my clients, I've been struggling really a lot, in terms of how I get to price my customers based on the value that I give them in terms of my services. So analyzing through the value proposition that I offer, I was then able to say, you know what, I'm charging my clients way, way, way less for the services that I'm offering. And the business model canvas was able to help me also because of the resources, the channels that I'm using to take out my services to them, knowing that I'm spending so much money to invest in these channels to advertise the business. While it's a radio station, it advertises itself.
You're making so many powerful points. I just want to pause on two that you make. The one about the value proposition and helping you to be clear. So even your pricing can then be influenced. And by the way, our next workshop is going to be our pricing. So we're going to see next time we meet next week that the pricing is actually linked to your plan, to your business model canvas. Thank you very much for sharing that. Lebo, if you can also just share very briefly, unmute quickly and share what the benefits of the business model canvas is, then we can jump into it just now. Lebo? Or are you dropping your hand now?
Yeah, I think for me, having a business model canvas.
We're struggling to hear you, Lebo. Maybe you can type in the text chat for us, then we can actually hear what you have to say by reading it. That's okay? Okay, so we're all on the same page here. There's something of value here. We can definitely learn about using this thing. This is how the business model canvas looks like. If it's the first time you see it, don't stress. There are 9 things there that we're going to look at, and we're going to look at it now. And then guess what? We've got our guest today is one of our participants. Our Adorable is going to share something around her business in the events industry in using this. So we just can have a quick discussion. I just need to go through this fairly quickly so that we still have good enough time for that. So there are 9 elements. And by the way, we spoke about using YouTube and so on. So highly recommend, if someone finds a good resource there on YouTube that explains to you the business model canvas, share it with others in the WhatsApp community. We can learn there more about this. So we start with this thing that Sia spoke about, the value proposition. Sort of what is it that customers really get is not the technical details of your product or service. If you go to the hardware store to buy a bulb to take back home and put into the socket, you're not buying a bulb. What are you buying? You can say you're buying the light, but actually you're not even buying the light. You're buying the ability to do your books at night or to cook your food at night and see what you do. So you spend money on buying a bulb. Yes, that's the technical thing, the feature of the product. But the important thing is, what is it that people are getting is the value, the benefits. So this value proposition, what is the value proposition that you offer your customers? And you ask there also, what is different in what you do to other people? What is different? If you do exactly the same thing than someone else is doing just around the corner, the only way that you can compete is by charging less. You don't want to charge less. You want to charge more because you offer more value. What is that value that you can give the value proposition for your customers? And you can see there, that's sitting right in the middle of the business model canvas. It's sitting here, right in the middle, and it's linked to your customer segments. So let's talk about customer segments quickly. You know, sort of who are those people? Can you describe them in detail? I can't be, everyone is not my customer, definitely not. I need to zoom in onto the people that wants that benefit. The value that I give, the people that need that or that want that are my customers, and I can segment them to understand better who I can focus on. Okay, what do they feel? What do they do? And so on. Understand that so that you can connect with them. And then, of course, who are your best customers? You know, focus on them. And then you link that through the customer relations and the channels that you have. So I'm going through this fairly quickly, but we'll come back to it. Customer relations is about how they first get to know about you, how they interact with you, that whole journey that they walk with you, even before they are customers, they get to know about you. How do they know about you? You know, sort of how do they get to know about you? Those kind of things that you must plan for. And then those strong relationships that you want to build over time, of course, is very important. And then you can move on to the channels that is delivering to them. How do you make sure that the quality service is delivered to them on time as they expected? So a lot of operational stuff involved there too. And how can you be exceptional? How can you be better than others in doing so? Okay, and then we can move on to say, okay, all of these things are now fitting together here on the right. You know, we offer our value. We have defined our value proposition. This is what the benefits that our customers get. We know who those customers are. We've got the ways, the relationships that we build with them, and we know how we make sure that we deliver the product or service to them. And then we can make sure that we get money from them. That's the revenue streams are coming from them. You know, sort of what are they? Make a list of things that if you have the range of products, what are those things that if you have different kinds of categories that you sell into, how are those revenue streams coming together to give you the income for the business? And here on the right, it's all about that. So what are those reliable sources too? You know, sort of we want to have reliable income for our business. So here on the right, everything here on the right, value proposition for customers, the customer relations we create, the channels leads to this revenue that we get. And then we can go on to the left. I'm going fairly quickly through this, I know, but we'll come back and make some examples just now. Key activities. You know, key activities are what are those things that you have to do to make sure things come together. Sometimes some of the activities you can outsource even into partnerships or resources that you have access to is also important. So activities and resources sit there together. This is the operational hub of your business, you know, sort of know what you have to do yourself and what to outsource. There are things that nowadays you can buy a lot of things at outsource. You don't have to create a whole massive business to offer a service as you maybe had to do 20 or 30 years ago. There are options for you. And the resources too. You know, you don't have to own anything. You don't have to buy a computer even nowadays. You can rent a computer, you know, sort of. So what are the things what are those resources that you need and how can you have access to them, even if you don't own them? Okay, so those things then are there on the left. So those are the resources and the activities. And then there's partnerships that you need to think about too. So, and a lot of instances relates to in the industry that you're in, the strategic partnerships that you need, but it could also be some other connections that you need to make to be compliant or to fit into an industry sometimes, you know, sort of to be part of a industry body so that you have the connections and so on too. But who are those partners and what are the key activities linked to those partnerships? And then we've done most of it. Now we've concentrated here on the left, sort of on the partnerships, the activities, the resources, and that all translates into the cost structure, by the way, which we're going to look at in detail in our next workshop. So the cost structure is all about listing all those things that you need to cover and what are the cost implications of each of them in terms of what you must be able to do. How are you going to fund that too becomes a point. And definitely you need to know if you have calculated all your costs, what is your break even? You know, how many units do you need to sell before you actually make money? we'll talk about those things next time. Yeah, a bit of hard work, but if you have those financial controls in place, that's the way that you're going to make sure that you make money, and that the cost structure, then the costs are less than the revenue, because if that's the way that you make money. And this is how you can see that you can integrate the 9 elements of the one-page plan, the business model canvas, in a quick way. And in fact, you can flatten this thing out to say, okay, if I do my plan, I can say, okay, yeah, in the middle, this value proposition, I can define that. And then right in the right corner, it's customer segments. Who are the people that I reach out to? And I can fill out a plan like this, sort of. I can take an example, for instance. I'm not going to delve on this too long, sort of, but Uber, you can take a big company like Uber, where you can see the value that they create is, for people to be able to move easily, even without owning cars, for drivers too. So they've got 2 audience segments, the purple one and the green one. And some of us also may have that we have more than one audience, more than one value offering, sort of. So, but that then all fits together. The 9 elements then influence each other into you being able to do your own plan. And that's also going to be your assignment. We'll post a Word document there in the WhatsApp community on the assignments group. And you can use that to complete this assignment, to do the business model canvas for your own business. It's an editable document, so you can actually just put your details, type your details into that document, and then save it, and save it in the right file format, please, with your name and the assignment number in it, and submit it by the 24th of September, which is Tuesday next week. That's the assignment. I've got a last point I want to make. I know I've gone quickly, but we'll revisit this just now. So just listen up for one moment more, and then we'll make some examples. That one-page plan doesn't say how you're going to do things yet. Correct? There, thanks, Pule has shared his business model canvas there for us already. So you've got easy homework, Pule. Or maybe not, eh? Maybe a revisit of that is due. We don't know. But the point being here, without the action, remember we said the staircase at the bottom, it's action, then it's plan, then it's goals, then it's vision. Eh? So if we want to get to the vision, we have to start with the action. So how do we plan for action? And you may recall, for you guys that have had coaching sessions, that action plan is one of the things that the coach is going to ask you about. So what are those tasks that you need to cover? What's the result of, what is the outcome, sort of very important. And how do you know you reached the outcome, to put it into some measure, and the timeline to it. And what are the risks or assumptions that you make in getting that you must take account for, so that you can execute that. So if you have a little framework where you plan these things, it may help, to say, okay, here's my one-page plan, my business model canvas. What are the tasks that I need to work on next? And take that 1, 2, or 3 tasks and say, okay, this is the task. What's going to be the result, the outcome of it? How will I know I'm successful? The measures for success. But when do I need to get it done? What are the things I need to look out for, the risks and the assumptions that I need to account for? It is just a quick framework for you to do action plan. So that's my last point, Tobeka. I don't know how we're doing for time too, but we have Adorable in the room that we want to have a chat with, and we've got Sia and Zama and Pule and so on, the people that seems to be old hands at business model canvas use. We can pull them in perhaps too, to help us.
Of course, it's amazing to see like the work that's done. And I'm hoping with hearing what you just shared, some of you are re-looking at your BMC and saying, oh, let me refine this. Oh, let me refine this. Because there's always space for refining and refining and refining. Okay, so just to get us started, we're gonna have our guest. Hey, Chris?
Yes, Adorable. Do you want to switch on your camera, Adorable? In fact, Adorable is not a guest because she's one of our participants. She's our colleague.
Mm-hmm.
And you can unmute too, Adorable.
Hi everyone, how are you doing? I hope you're well on this Wednesday afternoon.
So adorable.
Adorable.
Yeah, so maybe you want to just introduce yourself for those that haven't met you on WhatsApp or so on first, and then we can have a discussion around your business model canvas.
Okay, so my name is Adorable Ndluli. I am from Tembisa. I run a business called Adore Events, which has different segments. We do gifts as balloon fair, which is part of our segment. And we also have Adorable Dresses, which deals in renting out special occasion dresses. So in a nutshell, that is Adorable.
So let's use the business model canvas as a framework, sort of so that value proposition. If you say you are making dresses and gifts, what is the value that you are offering your customers by doing that?
So Chris, for today, I would like to just focus on adorable dresses so that we can make it a bit better for the business model. So the value that I offer with adorable dresses, the ease in knowing that you will attend an event looking good. So a lot of women, more especially, stress about what to wear. So with adorable dresses, we get to ease off our customers from the stress of what am I going to wear.
Okay, so you take away stress in not for people that want to look good.
Yes.
And why do they want to look good?
Because usually what you to people, you can't really present your inner being, like you're the inner person. But when you actually dress up and look good, people get to see a reflection of who you are through what you are wearing on the outside. So usually people want to look good because they want to reflect, like they want to show others who they really are.
Right. Now, see, there we haven't even spoken about a dress or a suit or anything, because that's the product. But the value you're giving people is that they can, through looking good, they can create relationships with other people that they want.
True.
I wonder if someone asks you next time, what do you do in your business? And you say that, what they're going to think, eh?
That's a good one.
Yeah, but it leads to another question, eh? Sort of, so if you say, I make people good so they can create great relationships, then people want to know, how do you manage that? Sort of, but that's the value that you give them. So
Pardon?
value proposition is all about that, sort of the benefits that they get from what you do. Yes, you also have to describe the details of your product or service. What is the thing that you do? But it starts with that difference that you make for them. And then who are they? If we move there to the right. So that's the value proposition. That's kind of this little gift that we give people. Now we move to those people. How do you define who the people are?
So my customer base is middle-aged women who are earning income, usually middle class and higher and upper class, the rich class. So those are usually the people that I offer the services to. And yeah, they're a huge part of my customer base.
Right. So you understand that it's probably professionals or people with a proper with income. That means that they've got a bit more to pay for the clothes it's not people that are struggling to pay. It's people that are middle class and they have extra income.
Yes.
How do you reach them?
Definitely.
How do they know about you? What is this? Remember, this thing is now, if you define who they are, you can also say they are you want to reach them in a specific area because you need to make clothes for them, you need to measure them. So you can't just offer the service on the internet. You have to actually be close to them. So where are they based?
So how I usually reach a huge part of my customers base through social media. And I also attend events to actually network and navigate all around my customers. And yeah, it's through events. A huge part of my customer base, I've made my events, people go to attend stuff, wedding expos for the customer base of the people that are getting married and they would like to hire out wedding dresses. So I
Yeah.
also attend expos for those ones.
Okay, so yeah, customer segment, we can actually say there's some sub segments, people that have life events like weddings and so on, they're even more important.
Yes,
And they're going to spend more money with you more easily. So they probably that 20% of your customers that give you 80% of your profit.
definitely, definitely.
Okay, so each of us can ask these questions for ourselves, eh? So who are those customers that are our best customers and how do we reach them more? And we've got that organized, the customer relations. Now we talk about the channels, that's kind of the delivery. How do you make sure that you deliver good product to them that now this is the gift, but it's not a gift given yet, eh? It's a gift that's still in the shopping window. You know, you have to get it to them. So how do you make sure that you're efficient in delivering to them?
So in most cases, people usually come and get the dresses for themselves, but there are instances where courier services and drivers to get the dresses to them. But I would say 80% of the time, they come personally to have that interaction. They have to be fitting and readjusting.
So you need to have the space that's a safe space for them to get dressed and make the fittings, they must feel comfortable there and so on. So that channel is one that requires a resource. So you can already see there's no arrow here to the resources, but there's a link because to do these things like networking and Facebook marketing and so on and run the channel of delivery, there's some resources and activities that you need to plan. So you'll have to see how you then bring these things over into activities and so on. But let's talk about the revenue streams then. So you sell based on orders.
Yes, based on orders that the customers have done, and also the revenue stream is also with the fitting. Like there's a fitting fee that we make for those who wanna just fit the dresses and see if they do like them. But a part of it is from the orders and the people that actually hire out the dresses.
Okay, so you talk about different things. Is you make clothes for people that pay you for the clothes that they buy from you.
Yes.
Then you charge them for fitting because they're going to come back once or twice or 4 or 5 times, but each time they come for a fitting, they pay again. So you're not going to have this customer that keep bogging you. That's a very clever way. And then you also hire out, you also have rentals.
Yes.
Okay, so there are 3 revenue streams that you can note there. Do you also pre-make knowing that someone's going to come and buy it? So it's actually for sale on a rail?
Yes, we do that also.
Four revenue streams. So you guys can see there, so figure out which ones of those are also more consistent and quantify that into rand as far as you can for your plan.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's here on the right. Thanks. We made good progress here. We don't have to talk too much about the activities and the resources, but maybe you want to and the partnerships here, your ability then to deliver. Maybe on all of those 3 together, do you want to make some comments around your ideas? What are the operational things you have to have in place? But all this partnerships, activities, and resources, so you can just comment about all of them together.
So I partnered up with courier services to actually deliver dresses and dresses and designers, people who actually help me with the designing and real dresses, and all the retailers, people who sell the different type of dresses. And my other partnerships is customers who've bought and would like to actually resell their dresses so that we can hire them out. So my huge partner, the retailers that actually provide the dresses, and this people that actually readjust the dresses to make it look more elegant.
Yeah. So it's not only you're also working with other people that are seamstresses and so on, or how do you organize the resources?
So the seamstresses, I'm using 2 currently that help me to readjust because I trust them. We built that relationship of trust, and I know they'll do exactly what we do. Yes.
Okay. And you have to have some sewing machines and things yourself too, or can you rely on outsourcing that?
No, I outsource. I can't sew in my life. I can't, so I outsource for that.
Okay. You see, you don't have to own the resource to have access to it. It's a very important one. Nowadays, it's so much easier to do business because you don't have to go buy everything.
And
Right, and then
another
those,
point,
yes?
the fact that some of the dresses I don't necessarily own per se, but I do stock them and actually hire them out without necessarily
Yeah.
having to own them myself.
Yeah. You can even have a fifth revenue stream, which is a subscription.
Yeah, that's a good
Our
one.
subscription means that they pay every month with a debit order, and then that means they can come and swap their top or whatever their jacket. So there's an idea of a new one. But all of those things have cost implications, and then you can list them. So I think that's kind of a thank you very much, Adorable. I'm not sure if you want to make a final comment about you now doing your assignment. And then I'll hand over
Oh
to
yes, this is going to be
Safito and Rashida.
good.
Just say again.
I'm saying this is going to make it a more since I've started.
Yeah. Okay, and I think for me, sometimes when you have a conversation like we had now, it's a very quick way for you to then actually go do the business model canvas. So I'll put the challenge out to you guys. If you want to match up with someone that's in a similar industry to you, and you have this conversation, you connect on the WhatsApp and direct message each other and say, "Can you help me? I'll help you with your business model canvas." It's just a tip or a recommendation that people may do. But thank you very much, Adorable. I'm not sure if there are any questions or comments around Adorable before I give over to Tobeka.
Okay, so my comment or last, before I close off, I'd like to say thank you from the program itself. I've been learning a lot and implementing each and everything that we come here and talk about each every week has helped me to grow my business a bit more, because sometimes it feels like you are alone in this, but with the community itself, you get to see that there are actually young people out there who, like you, have dreams and goals to achieve. And thank you to all the coaches, all the staff that are giving their time and effort to actually teach us. And it is making an impact. That's what I would like to put out there. It is making an impact in our small spaces. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Adorable. That is amazing, and for sharing that. And thank you, Christoph, for talking us through the business model canvas. And just that last point around, work with someone within your industry and talk to them. Let me say something. Don't fear. Don't look at it like, oh, I'm speaking to my competition. Because you are possibly stopping opportunity to connect. I have just shared a link to Christoph's flow canvas. I don't know if I was allowed to, but I've done it. This is something he does. We're both in the same industry, and we share and we have conversations. We don't see each other as competition. We see each other as collaborators, as associates. And I think we need to start approaching life with that and just trusting. And of course, you're developing the relationship, because you can even complement each other. Even though you're both in sewing, doesn't mean that you're all doing the same work. Or if you're in transport, that you're doing the same work. But really gives you an opportunity to possibly widen your network of people, your people you can trust should you get more work, and have someone you can refer your work to.
So Tobeka, I'll make a quick commitment to if there's comments in the next 2 days, it's today's Wednesday, by Friday. If there are comments, questions, because we won't have much time now for questions, but I'll respond to questions in the discussion on the business model canvas. So if you have specific questions, post it there. Maybe colleagues, participants can also weigh in and find solutions. But I'll have a look every day, at least twice there, to see if it's something to help people with, because we won't have much time now for Q&A.
Yes, but if you are holding questions, just put the questions in the chat now anyway, so you don't forget. Any question you're holding, any aha moment, oh, I'm surprised at this, whatever it is, whether it's the way Christoph approached the conversation or looked through it. Put that down, because then the question is like, oh, what was it that was surprising you in that? So this is a way of reflecting again, reflective learning, and just bringing to light what you've heard. Or, oh, this is what I heard today. Without further ado, I will hand over to our lead coach, Butsfiso Sanbonan. Saying over to you, Tate. Yabona-ke manje.
Good
Okay.
afternoon. Good afternoon, Sisi, Rebecca. How are you doing? I
I'm
hope you're doing
alright.
very well.
Very well.
Exciting to be in this group. And again, thank you very much, fellow entrepreneurs, and for your commitment to this program. On behalf of the coaches, we're very, very excited that you are all enthusiastic and responsive. Coaches have been calling you, making appointments, coming to you to do the first coaching interventions. The majority of you have had those coaching sessions, and the feedback, right, even from the previous session, has been positive. And thank you very much for that. And I know there may be a few sessions that may still be ongoing and being finalized. Would like to hear if maybe there are any particular glitches or issues or questions. Please feel free to put those in the chat so that we can be able to know maybe if there have been some small lanyana glitches along the way. We would like to be able to do that. So that was the first in-person session. And again, please remember that you have got 3 additional sessions that are coming, and these will be online. So we move from face-to-face to now to digital. That should be exciting. So there won't be, the logistics will be a lot less cumbersome, but still it becomes important that we manage those in terms of setting appointments up front, setting time up front, organized and connectivity secured up front, so that we don't have, again, technical glitches because suddenly you are not able to connect with your coach. And then again, as you set these appointments, you need to be very explicit in your conversations with your coach in terms of agreeing what platform to use. Are you going to use a direct call? Are you going to be a WhatsApp call? Is it going to be a Zoom call? And which time? And you negotiate. Because both of you are business people, so you've got to negotiate what is the most suitable time. I know, for example, in my coaching experience, that quite a number of entrepreneurs, because of the nature of what they do, they would prefer an evening. Some would prefer it probably in a 7 o'clock meeting before their day becomes hectic. So please be upfront in negotiating with your coach and understanding his availability as well. And again, meeting online is very much like meeting face-to-face. You have to arrive in the place on time. If you have agreed a particular platform, you've got to be have that platform live and connected, and you've got to be there before time and test if that platform is actually working. So that's important, because sometimes if it's 9 o'clock, you click on 9 o'clock, suddenly you realize that your laptop or your device for some reason is rebooting. And it happens to the best of us, and it will happen to you that there is a glitch of some sort. But if you do that 10 minutes or quarter-minute test, if everything's okay, 5 minutes before you turn it on and you see if all is well, then you're going to have a very fault-free interaction with the coach, and everybody's going to be happy, because once there are glitches in the beginning, you also become mentally unstable, and because you get worked up, this thing is frustrating you. Your coach in the meantime is waiting 15 minutes for you. By the time you interact, you have to find a way to calm down and make sure you have a productive engagement. So prepared. Second last, I guess, it's the issue of assignments. You would have done 2 assignments, and these assignments need to have been done and submitted. And this is an opportunity for you to take this as one of the items. Remember, the coaching intervention is for you. It's not for the coach. So you need to lead it. And by leading it means you are prepared. You sit down and plan and say, in these coaching interventions, these are the issues that I'm taking for discussion or for reflection with my coach. And the assignments, or advising that assignments, let them be one of those. And again, that's important. And again, there is this request that you go to the tracker and you make sure that you confirm the session so that everyone in the system, but also or your coach, are aware that the session will take place or has taken place through the tracker. I think those are the main things, fellow entrepreneurs. Let's make the money. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Putsfi. So over to you, Rashida.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Christoph, for a great session today. It's actually the first time I'm sitting in an entrepreneurial workshop with Christoph, and I must say I'm really amazed at his, way of, I think I can clearly see it's his element. So just thank you, Christoph, for that. And yeah, just a moment in reflection I was thinking is that in the beginning, I told you all I was a program hopper in my past life, right? And I realized that sometimes, Topeka, please take note, entrepreneurs don't just join programs for funding. We join it for community, we join it to gain knowledge, so I'm really grateful that I get to be in this room and now contribute to that very ecosystem that's shaped me as a great entrepreneur. But anyway, let's get into the technical stuff quickly. Upcoming dates and deadlines is that you will now be going into your cycle 2. Okay, so cycle 2, we'll do the same thing again. You'll have your workshop 3, workshop 4, 2 workshops, and then after that week you'll have your peer forum. We're hoping to be able to see all our Gautengers in person. If not, we'll all meet online, but details of that will be, of course, communicated in advance. And then remember, every Tuesday, so if you have a workshop today, the following Tuesday, the day before the next workshop, that is when it's due for you to have your assignments done, completed to qualify for BusyBucks. We do accept sort of later assignments based on those who communicate, but remember, meeting the deadline means you get your BusyBucks. Okay. And then last but not least, of course, you'll have your participant feedback. So as a community, how are we doing in terms of submissions? We're all about holding each other accountable. So in terms of our assignment 1 and assignment 2, we're really doing really good. Those of you that haven't yet done it, it's okay. Still submit it. I am tracking, even if it's older, later date, because ultimately it's about the learning, right? We want to learn, we want to implement into our business so that beyond this program, we are adopting habits that's going to help our businesses grow. Okay, so submit those assignments if you can, and of course, the participant feedback form and the sessions is very important as well. Okay, then on to your assignment 3. So you'll do a business model canvas. As you know, you have the link to submit your assignments. It's the very same link that we always use for submissions. In this time around, you will be uploading a business model canvas. Okay, thank you, Amanda, for popping it in the chat. And yes, this recording, of course, will be made available to you. So if you want to revisit some of the things that Christoph went through today, you're more than welcome to do so as well. And I know, sadly, some of our participants were struggling to join, but we see you and we'll be around for any support if you need it. Okay, quick links. If someone can just pop it in the chat, you have them in your groups. We post these regularly, but just a reminder, take a picture if you forgot or you lost it. But yeah, you know what to do in terms of your quick links. I don't want to have to repeat and explain it all again in detail. I'm sure you got this. Yeah, I think that's it from my side. Is there anything else, Christoph or Tobeka, that I should be covering?
No, it's quiz time. It's quiz time. So we're going to put the quiz link in there and let's quiz away. Let's see those people. I'll give you 3 minutes. Click in the link right now. The link should be in the chat soon. Wonderful. Thanks, Amanda. Oh, follow. Tap, tap. Again. Type in there. Let's do this while you're busy. We'll give you about 3 minutes. Oh, Romeo, You're not sure what busy bucks is. Who in the group wants to say? Let's not share it, Rush. Let's do some peer-to-peer engagement. Yeah, let's develop that capacity to help each other. Yeah, who wants to explain what busy bucks? Please, let's help our colleague. From one colleague entrepreneur to another. Who wants to unmute? One who can multitask a little bit, or we'll pause the quiz and just respond to Romeo right now on what that is. I'm just developing the capacity for us to share with each other instead of only hearing from us. So please, someone unmute, except Sisnomvuyo, Butsfiso, Amanda, Rashida Tobega. Who's going to help our colleague?
George or Tinyiko. George.
And dominate people.
George is unmuted. Go ahead, Buji. Busy bugs.
Yes, hello everyone. Yes, I'm here to explain about busy bugs. Actually, busy bugs, as the program says, L+EARN. So for every learning you get to earn, and for every activity that you do with L+EARN, you get to earn points. So for each workshop or coaching or check, like that's what I'm saying, every activity you earn points. So I know for this workshop, for me attending, I will get 10 busy bug points, which is equivalent to 10 rand when you convert it. And when you do your quiz, I think it's approximately you earn 5 busy bugs points, and so on. So for every activity or assessment that you are given, when you complete it and submit it in time, you will get those points. And after the program, at the end of the program, each entrepreneur will get their busy bugs in their account. Yeah, I don't know how it is, but yeah, that's how I understand it.
Awesome, George. Thank you. Anyone else wants to add on to that except us? If you feel, oh, there's this piece of information as well. Or you want to reiterate something. Hold on, Chris. I know you want to say something. Again, just reiterating that we all don't know 100%, but the little I know, the little you know will create the 100%, right? Is there anything else anyone wants to reiterate in what was said? We're helping each other here, ne?
Yeah.
So just unmute and speak. Go ahead.
We want to do the quiz too. I sort of just remember that, Rebecca. We're running out of.
I know. Thank you for the reminder. So anyone who's done with the quiz, say done in the chat. Romeo, I hope you're fine. Thumbs up.
We have to clarify for Romeo's benefit that the busy bugs is included in data at the end of the program.
Yeah, that's what I wanted. Okay. Hey, Christoph. I know.
Otherwise, we may leave with a wrong impression.
No. You see, I was going to ask the people who said done to say, do you want to add more? Okay. So I think you know me, I like to just reiterate of creating that pattern of mind shift, of learning from each other.
Those Cesare and Kanya and everyone that's completed the quiz would have earned 5 busy bucks by doing so. And then they also earned 5 busy bucks by attending for more than 60 minutes today.
Awesome. Look at you guys. Well, it is 7 a.m. here where I am.
It's 2 o'clock with us.
It was a good way to start my morning. Where is you see now, I know I'm expected to play a song. So now it seems like we've come to an end.
Maybe we can quickly ask Nomvuyo to say if we're on track, Nomvuyo.
Yes, go ahead, says Nomvu.
Yes. Are we closing now? Are we wrapping up? Okay. I see we are wrapping up. My goodness, what a lovely session. You know what I took? That planning is a bridge. I really like that. Planning is a bridge between vision and action. So if you don't do the planning, you won't get to the vision. So I love that, Christoph. Thank you so much. And I just want to reiterate, do you know that the business model canvas is the heart of your business? So, for example, when a person meets you and says, "Who are you?" Who are you? You will tell them your name, what your likes, what what gets you going, etc., etc. But when we want to know who is your business, we check your business model canvas. It is the identity of your business. So if you want to create the identity of your business, then the business model canvas is it. So this was a very great lesson. It is, for some of you, I know there are many things that you don't understand, but please invest the time. But for many of you, you already know these things. You already know these things. So please invest your time, learn about this thing. It is core. It is core to your business. Without knowing or your costs are, what business do you have? It is core to your business.